the Creator is the author of that, because this person becomes confused and believes that the source of those problems are the people around him, himself, society, all of that stuff. And he also doesn't understand why that's happening. So the Creator is hidden to him within his sensation by two screens, in a sense, by two veils. And this is a period in which a person reincarnates. That is, everything that happens on the physical level, and all their development is an unconscious development, even though they're trying to get on the path. When a person moves through this and finally goes through these stages to a point where they begin to perceive something else, that is, the upper force draws them through this process, and through unconscious evolution and physical incarnations into an incarnation where they will now begin to work with a method that will allow them to actually enter spirituality and remove one of the veils. And Baal Salam describes this state, which is called single concealment, this way. The Creator is concealed. He manifests not as absolutely kind, but as one who brings suffering. In other words, the person is certain that the Creator is the author of everything that occurs in life. But the only thing that he can feel from the Creator in regards to his path is that he brings him a lack and what he calls suffering. So he doesn't understand the Creator's intention, though the reality of the Creator's sovereignty is clear to the person. The person seems to see the opposite side of the Creator since he only receives suffering from him. He nevertheless believes that everything that comes to him comes for a reason, and that the Creator treats him this way to punish him for his evil actions or to lead him to goodness. Thus he strengthens his faith in the Creator's supervision. So he doesn't know, is this coming to advance me, or is this coming to punish me because of my inadequacies, my sins, and this idea? This is where the confusion lies. He doesn't understand the attitude of the Creator in the things that occur. And the visceral description, how the person's reality is set up, is that this person is sick, he's poor, and he's despised by people, he's anxious, and nothing seems to be right in his life. He now sees that his situation is not as good as the people around him, that is, as he perceived people in double concealment. That he finds himself constantly lacking something, things, he doesn't relate to people in the same way. Nothing is working right because his primary desire to connect with the Creator is very confused. Now here, this is what you find when people have run out of satisfying the first 5 desires, which is what happens unconsciously in double concealment. That's when the point in the heart appears. And that's also the time when a person discovers Kabbala. That is, they discover that there is a method of having a direct connection with the Creator and understanding Him. And so they become exposed to, it seems, maybe just happenstance. They turn on the television and they watch a program about Kabbala, and their point in the heart starts to pulse. Right? Or they go to a lecture, or they pick up a book in a bookstore, and they begin to get this information that this is actually possible, and they begin learning a method. Now, this is called a period of preparation, because during this time, a person makes the kinds of inner changes that are conscious. They start developing using both the map of reality, that is, the books, and the correct method, which comes from having a teacher who is in spirituality, a Kabbalist already in the spiritual world, who can give guidance to the person, saying, a little bit to the left, a little to the right, this is the way to go, this is how to use the books. There is also another component, very, very important component, that a person must have in order to really make the method work. But I'll tell you about that later once you see what is in the rest of this map, because you'll see why this must be. So, when a person actually completes this method of preparation and penetrates the barrier into the spiritual world, he enters a state called a state of corrections. This is when the person loses the confusion as to whether he has a direct sensation of the Creator or not, and begins to work in the correction of desires, that is, the 613, 620 desires, mitzvot, become corrected through a sensation of direct connection to the Creator, where a person begins to feel the results of their own attitude and the difference of their attitude towards the Creator in a reciprocal mode, and corrects desires 613, 620 until they come into alignment with the desire or the intention that the Creator has towards them. So here there is not that kind of not knowing and veiledness that exists in first and second concealment. Here, in the double and single concealment, we have what we experience as free will. Right? It's free only in that we're confused and we act as though there was nothing there. Here, past the barrier, is where the real work in Kabbala begins, after the preparation period of working directly with the sensation of the Creator in a relationship. So once the person has crossed the barrier and begins to work with the correction of desires, what he's really doing is he has finished the preparation and is beginning the work with the books in the correct way, that is, in a revealed way. And actually, this phase includes both the correction phase and the first revelation of the Creator, in which the providence of the Creator is revealed to the man himself. And Baal Salam describes this transition. Although in concealment, the person's faith in the Creator's rule over the world grows stronger. This leads him to the books, which he receives the light of correction from, and an understanding of how to strengthen his faith in the Creator's rule. And when his effort to believe in the Creator's providence reaches sufficient measure, allowing the light of correction to influence him, he becomes ready for the Creator's rule over him in the state of revelation. The Creator reveals himself to all of his created beings as the good and kind one in accordance with their desires. In other words, the person begins to feel not what he felt as free will through his ego, but as a result of his desire to connect with the Creator, he feels one and the same thing as the intentions of the Creator. It is revealed to him, so that gap, which we call free will, is removed and experienced as a fulfillment, not as a challenge. And he describes it this way, what is viscerally in that. The person feels the Creator's goodness, peace, constant satisfaction, earns enough money